Hello and welcome back to Good Morning Lancaster. I'm Jordan Luke McDonald.
And I'm Timmy Lloyd-Judson. Thank you for joining us.
So today we'll be joined by VP-elect Education Ian Meeks.
But first, let's bring you up to date with the latest news headlines.
On Thursday, it was International Women's Day. Here in Lancaster, the Women's Plus Forum held a talk with Maggie Tuckey about her work with the charity Edinburgh Direct Aid. There was also a Women in Media panel featuring editors of the online feminist journal, The F Word.
2 Lancaster University professors are taking up positions on research boards as part of the Board of UK Research and Innovation. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Mark E. Smith, has been appointed Senior Independent Member of the Engineering and Physical Sciences Research Council, with Professor Louise Heathwaite being one of the Natural Environment Research Council members.
Researchers here at the university have discovered that resistance to digital technologies is not just rooted in issues with accessibility like previously thought. The researchers found that personal values to do with the desirability of technologies, the impact on society and fears of getting things wrong are factors holding back technology among older adults.
More than 6,000 students have written to the Vice-Chancellor in relation to the ongoing University College Union strikes. An open letter called on the professor to stand up for staff by opposing the proposed changes to pensions.
On Wednesday, there was a rally in Alexandra Square in support of all striking staff. Between 40 and 50 people attended the main demonstration in order to pressure the university into negotiations.
Throughout the previous strike days, negotiations have been going on with UCU and Universities UK. On Monday, it was announced that a compromise had been arranged with the agreement going to a vote of union members to stop the action from the 14th March. However, this agreement was denied, meaning the strikes are ongoing.
So, strikes, big impact. Have you been affected much, Timmy?
Pretty much 80% of my stuff has been just cancelled and off, yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of a weird space right now. What about you?
During the strike days, I've only had one seminar. Like only one of my seminars have been running.
Jeez.
So apart from that, all my lectures are cancelled.
Oh God.
Seminars cancelled. I guess it's just it's a necessary thing, isn't it? And I mean, I got some time to do my coursework and stuff, but
yeah.
It's a bit of a pain. I'm missing content and stuff. And
yeah, exactly. Like you come here to study, and then it's like,
yeah.
okay, well, let's just have 3 weeks. I mean, you understand why they're doing it. Like, it obviously makes sense, but at the same time, it kind of being inconvenience as well. So that's just kind of, yeah, I guess not too good. When do you think it'll be over? Like, when do you think they're going to reach an agreement? Well,
there was an agreement proposed, wasn't there? And it's been rejected by the UCU.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I mean, they've said they're gonna. There's an announcement that there could potentially be strike days during exam season, which would cause a lot of disruption. Personally, I hope that there's an agreement reached before then, because obviously it would affect people on a much wider scale if exams were brought into it. Obviously, they can't assess us on, or they've said they can't assess us on things that they haven't told us. So, if exams were affected, then that would cause a problem, I guess.
That wouldn't be very good publicity-wise as well, I'd say. No. You know. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully that'll be all sorted out soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's been stated that the strike during the exams just like a threat or something, but I feel like there might be.
And I mean, while lecture and seminars have been cancelled, and things have been pulled off Moodle as well, so it's not as if you can go to the lecture slides on Moodle for some courses.
I mean, they said that will kind of defeat the purpose of the strike if they just make it available online, I guess. Which makes sense, but still, it's kind of stuff that you won't be able to catch up on.
Yeah.
So that just kind of, sucks, I guess. Anyway, moving on, we had Mother's Day this past week. What did you do?
Well, I was still in Lancaster, so I just said to my mum, I was going to send you a bottle of wine, but I thought it's kind of a bit hard to send that in the post.
Yeah.
So she just bought a bottle of wine.
She bought it? Okay. Cool. Wait, was that it? Or?
Yeah.
Cool. I Skype called my mother and said, at 10 p.m, I said, hey, it's Mother's Day here. Because it's not Mother's Day in Belgium, it's in like the mid of May. So I just thought, stick with the customs in a way. I guess another thing that happened today was Stephen Hawking passed away, age of 76. Thoughts on that?
Just out of the blue, really, wasn't it? I hadn't heard anything at all, really, to suggest anything was untoward. And I was speaking to Ian beforehand, and he was saying about how he's still been doing research up to this point. I'm sure we can talk a bit about that with him when he comes on.
We should, yeah. I mean,
just a bit. But I mean, I woke up this morning and just saw a message on my phone, and I was like,
I know.
whoa.
I just
Really?
saw, yeah, I'm in this group chat and I just saw the first post this morning. Guys, Sir Stephen Hawking's dead. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Is this real? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be honest, not the biggest Stephen Hawking fan, so I didn't know if there was anything else going on there, if people knew about that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Still a shock, I guess.
Have you seen the film, The Favourite
I have, actually.
It's a good film.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it. I feel like people are probably going to watch that film again now.
Yeah, definitely. That'll probably be on in cinemas
I probably will, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good film as well.
Very, very good, yeah. With, who was
Eddie
in that?
Redmayne.
Exactly, Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah. Brilliant film. I cried at that film.
Me too, yeah.
Right. We will next be joined by Ian, VP-elect for Education. But first, our Publicity and Marketing Manager went to a nightclub for the first time last week. Here's a look at Charlotte's first ever Sugar TV.
Dear viewer, tonight I'm going on an adventure, an exploration into the unknown. You see, I've never been in a nightclub before, so tonight, the Friday night, in the name of science and LA1 TV, I am here at Sugar House to find out what all the fuss is about. Right now, it's 10, like a 2. It's like minus 47 Celsius. You've got bare arms. Why? Why? Because I'm from the north. Oh, is it cold out here?
Alright, I'm pretty good.
That's because he's
I
cool.
wore my grandpa jumper today,
There we go.
so I'm alright.
Okay, so given it's so cold, why aren't you wearing a coat?
Because I'm too cool for coats.
Say someone had never been to a nightclub before. What advice would you give them?
Not this one!
Come to the wrong place!
I didn't want to come here. No one wants to come here ever, but we just do because it's the only place you can come to. So.
Oh my god, this queue is so long! So I've found my favourite place already because there's sweets here and they're free. Why?
Why? Because it's all part of our late night Do It Right campaign. We're here to remind students to make sure they're having a safe night, be that just getting a glass of water either from us or at any of the bars inside for free, or coming and grabbing some of our lovely sweets that we've got on offer. It's all just part of making sure you're staying that little bit more sober and safer on your night out.
Awesome. Stay safe, kids. Can we go inside now, please? It's very cold out here.
Lancaster is the number one night out.
Do you have any tips for a good night out? No tips. Okay.
Vegan? You like it?
Yeah. Why?
It makes me drunk.
Okay. I tried one for the first time today.
Today, did you like it?
No. It's just getting worse. This. Not for me. Oh, so long as you like it, that's what matters. Would you mind stopping spilling your drink on me? Hey! Hi!
Just go out, have fun, wear glitter, and get really drunk.
I'm doing it all wrong then!
Love past their boundaries. Love is universal.
I'm Charlotte, nice to meet you.
Have you had a good night? I'm going to interview you now. So how do you like LA1 TV?
I love LA1 TV, and not just because I'm the publicity manager.
I love you. I love you. I love you guys watching. I love everyone. Oh, hey, this is Tom. I thought you were dead. I was dead. You see, we do a show for LA1 called Real Life.
I think I'm Queen of Lovers Tiff now.
Like this, we're keep it moving. Put a fucking...
Not tonight! This is only the third interview I've done and my voice already dead! Do you think the music's a bit loud? Am I just too old? A tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. And see, she's young. She's younger than me and she agrees. There we go. I don't feel so bad anymore.
I'm too tired for this. I'm too tired. Okay, right. Let's try again. Well, it wasn't awful. I think I'm just a bit old now. You know, it was so loud. I mean, I'm probably going to be kicked off of LA1 for the interview because I could not hear what they were saying. I could not hear myself think. I had no idea what I couldn't hear what's coming out my own mouth. And it's just, I'm now being laughed at by Joel, who's behind the camera here. Because I sound like a grandma, and that's fine. The fact is, everyone has fun in different ways. However you prefer to spend your Friday nights, have fun doing what you want to do. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go to bed now.
So, anyway, we hope you enjoyed tonight with LA1 TV at the Sugar House. Join us again next time for the next episode of Sugar TV.
We're now joined by the one and only Ian Meeks, newly elected Vice President Education. Thank you for joining us and congratulations on winning.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
So, run us through your campaign. What was it like?
Stressful, really stressful. I was told, you know, before going into campaigning that it was going to be a lot of work and a lot of dedication. But no, it was an amazing experience. The amount of people I got to speak to and got to hear their views and opinions on what university is actually like. It was a really, really good experience.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So how was the results tonight?
Nuts. I think is the only word to describe it. The actual results night itself, yeah, it was quite overwhelming because to that point I was like, it could go either way. I genuinely thought it could have because of the amount of campaigning that both, well, that all three candidates did for the education role. But after that we had cheeky spoons. Why not?
Oh, nice.
And then we went back to Sugar and everyone was out. It was buzzing, a really good night.
Was that all the candidates or was that just the winners or how did that go? Like,
no, most of the candidates were out. A couple I didn't see, but to be honest, I didn't see most people who were out because how packed Sugar actually was. But I stayed around the bar because most of like my campaign team and my friends were around there. Didn't dare venture into the heart of the storm.
We've been asked executively. Obviously, there's a campaign, so it was between, you know, you were both all going for positions and things, and there must have been a bit of rivalry there. But how was the relationship with the other candidates?
I think it was strong actually. I mean, the current FTO, well, the newly elected FTO team, I'm already friends with quite a few of them, and not just from like previous to the campaigning, but due to the campaigning, I've like made a lot of friends with some of the candidates. So yeah, even though there's always going to be rivalry, but I think it was friendly rivalry.
Yeah, and obviously there was some positions which were very close and more so than others. But how do you think that was as an experience for you? Obviously, when it was so close for some of the positions, especially. But how do you think that really was as an experience for the candidates?
Yeah, well, welfare I think was the closest from what I remember. Only 2 votes in it.
2 votes, yeah.
Where Emily Delaney took it in literally the last round, and that was a shock. I was on the scan interview at the time, and I sort of had to like pause my scan interview to see the results. And with President as well, President was really close. So I think the fact that they were so close this term can be interesting for those candidates that won. For those, for example, activities, Toby won by quite some margin, which I think was really impressive, and it just goes to show how much campaigning does work, and meeting and talking with students does work, and creates that positive impact, both on the candidates and on the collective community of students.
Yeah, and obviously, Rhiannon mentioned in her speech that there was so the conditions for during the campaigning. There was the heavy snow, the wind, everything like that. That must have been a bit of a challenge for you and your campaign team. Yeah,
definitely. So when campaigning first started, 10 a.m. on Thursday, I got my campaign team straight out there to get that prime banner spot took them 40 minutes to put that banner up because of how windy it was. And then it came down that night. I got a message off a girl. She was like, "Oh, in go burrito, and your banner's about to fly away." I don't think I ran faster to catch that banner. But no, I took it down that night. Came back on. I think it was the next day, and I think it was Friday when all of the spa and that was shut. So I thought, no, I best keep it down and put it back up on Monday. But no, the wind was horrendous. Beth Crow got stuck in snow in Manchester, so she couldn't start campaigning until Friday. So yeah, I think it's been a very strange campaigning period for all of us, just due to the severe weather conditions and the fact that it's a smaller period as well. It means that we've had to, put a lot of, go and hit a lot of societies within that week instead of having that 2 weeks that we'd normally get.
Yeah. And in terms of your campaign then, is there any particular point on your manifesto or what you want to achieve really that one point really that you want to do or like?
Well, off-campus study space is like going to be quite a new thing for undergraduate students, so I really want to push and work with the university to at least get a trial for that put in place. But I want to try and hit all my manifesto points because there are some of them that will take significantly less time than others. For example, the doctor's note pledge that I've been talking about. But yeah, I can't wait to get into office and start to work on these pledges and make sure that the students who have voted for me feel like they have voted for the right person. I want to do well in this job.
Yeah.
So what will your first act as VP Education be when you take over? What's the first thing you want to do?
To be honest, I think I want to work on everything at once. But I think one of the biggest things that needs to happen is some sort of vote to see what the students as a collective do actually want. Because obviously I've put my pledges through, I've spoken to candidates, and my manifesto did change very slightly during the campaign period. Just from hearing to people, listening to students. So to put a vote into place to see what they really truly want. But I think the first act that Toby and I would discuss was to get a pool table in the Students' Union. Who needs a desk when you can play pool 24/7? But no, I think that was quite a drunken thought on Friday night, to be honest.
Yeah, and obviously the number of voters this year went up, but the voter percentage turnout actually went down. So what's your thoughts on that as now going to be part of the union? What's your thoughts on that, maybe, is it something you really want to push, I guess, the engagement with the students?
Oh yeah, definitely. Throughout my whole campaign period, I was just saying, I want to be working more with, for example, postgraduate students. And this year, postgraduate turnout was lower, but the actual number of voters was higher, which was, to me, brilliant news. It means that postgraduates are starting to engage more with the Students' Union, which is what we want. I think the fact that both Charlotte and UDay for Education were running for those positions really helped, because obviously they're both postgraduate students, and postgraduate students will relate to them on a personal basis. But I really want to push for a great turnout, because at the end of the day, their vote does affect what happens to them in general. There's a lot of first years even third years actually going around who didn't know what the Students' Union full-time officer positions were, which to me is it was surprising to some extent. Like, I know there were people that didn't know about it, but I didn't realise there were that many people. I think we got, 12% turnout in the end, something which is really low. So yeah, to push that engagement, this whole open office policy, that's probably actually the first thing we're going to implement. The open office policy, if a student wants to come and talk to me and I've got some free time, by all means come and talk to me. Yeah. Hopefully that will improve the engagement.
And you mentioned potentially doing a questionnaire to sort of see what the students actually want, and you obviously mentioned that you have got your own pledges, but you want to do maybe a questionnaire of some description to see what the students actually want. How difficult do you think that could be then with this low turnout? Do you think people actually engage with that, or? It
depends on how we run it. So one system that was implemented at the education conference that I went to this year, they had a token system where you just pop a token in one of the 6 tubes and that counts as a vote. And I think that'd be really easy because you can just go and do that in a square like you would with a chalkboard. But something much more physical, something that literally does take a second, you can do it face to face, I think will really improve that engagement. To go out into the square, to go and talk to students is crucial. I think that could have been done better this year. So hopefully I'll, be able to do that this year.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when you hear engagement, they think social media and posters and things, but that's often, very often, face-to-face things can actually, as you say there, with physical things can actually be a good way of doing things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Any questions?
I thought you had something
to
say. So I know you study. Moving on.
Yeah, go
on. You went to this education conference, didn't you?
Yeah.
What was that like? Talk us through
it was brilliant. I hadn't been to a conference before, not going to lie. So to go to my first conference was a really, really good experience for me. Hannah Laycock ran it, and it was the first one that Lancaster University have done in terms of education. And there were several talks. There was a brilliant one on decolonising the curriculum, which was really insightful. What else did we do? There was a really interesting debate on free speech at the end, which got very heated. Unsurprisingly, it's a very controversial topic at the moment. But to actually listen to how powerful some students and how involved a lot of students are with politics these days, especially student politics, was really, really inspiring to see.
Yeah, is that something that you want to transfer maybe across to the uni then? And obviously you mentioned about we talked about the turnout and how that was quite low at 12%. Is that something that you want to see more students being engaged with? And
yeah, definitely, because the education conference, it was open up to everyone, with a primary focus on academic reps, because academic reps are the voice of students in terms of academia here at the university. So yeah, I want to hold my own education conference, carry on in Hannah's footsteps. I think she's done a very good job as education officer this year. So yeah, to follow in her footsteps would be really strong, really good idea.
Yeah. Anything else? Just on an aside as well, you mentioned that before that you were a physics student.
Yeah. That was.
And obviously we heard this morning about the passing of Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
Just have you got any thoughts on that?
Well, it came so quickly. I mean, he's been sick for a long time. Doctors said he would only live to 30, so I think he's done really well to live out to the age he did live to. But yeah, it was very sudden. He'd been, as you mentioned before, he'd been doing research up to this point. He had a book, Theory of Everything, which was actually booked before the film, and it was a really, really, really good book to read, because it doesn't just talk about the physics, it also talks about sort of the background to it, and it's a good read for anyone who does know a little bit of science but doesn't have a degree or a PhD in physics. But as a scientist, he was really, really inspiring. It's the struggles he's gone through throughout his life. It did help. It was one of the reasons that I did want to become a physicist and carry on into these routes. I've seen because I've got a lot of my friends are physicists. There's been loads on Facebook today, very sad news, can't believe this has happened. So yeah, I think it's affected quite a lot of people, quite a lot of my close friends as well.
Yeah, and the achievements as well, regardless of any struggles that he faced, were incredible anyway, weren't they? So
definitely. As I said, he was only, he was told he was only going to live to 30. He's now got 3 children, 3 grandchildren. Yeah, and he's been on TV. He's been on Big Bang Theory. They posted a little memory to him today, which was really nice to see. He doesn't just affect scientists.
Yeah.
He affects other people in the community. His story's just been so powerful and so inspiring.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us.
No, thank you.
And here's a look at what's coming up on campus this week.
The Red Rose Refugee Society are holding their Escape to Safety exhibition in the Chaplaincy Centre. The event is a multimedia interactive exhibition which provides an insight into the flight of refugees. If you would like to attend, then the event is only open for 2 more days, today and tomorrow from 11 till 6 p.m, and it's free of charge.
Tomorrow there will be an annual general meeting to talk about space on campus. Located in George Fox Lecture Theatre 1, the talk will cover topics like design the spine, to social areas and society room bookings. If you have something to say, then be sure to be there at 6 p.m.
The university's Music Society are holding a concert on Thursday too, The concert will feature the orchestra, string orchestra, choir, chamber choir and film orchestra. The event will be in the Chaplaincy Centre and tickets will cost £3 to £5.
The Law Society are hosting their ball with the theme of A Night in the Stars. The event will take place on Friday at the Royal King's Arms Hotel, where the dress code will be black tie. There will initially be drinks reception before a 3-course meal and wine. Tickets cost £28 for members and £32 for non-members.
Friday is the last social of the term for the Wine Society. A fine wine evening will be in Tipple at 8 p.m, where you will be able to try 3 glasses. Oh no, wait, what?
3 glasses.
Oh, 3 glasses.
3 glasses.
Thanks for calling me out on that.
Of Vine, yeah. The Vagina Monolinks are hosting an event on Saturday titled Lancaster University Run Against Domestic Violence. For information about the event, you can visit their Facebook page.
On Sunday, the Hiking Club are doing a trip to the Yorkshire Dales. The trip will be leaving at 8:45 a.m. and heading to Kettlewell before returning at 8 p.m.
Also on Sunday, there is a single rope technique training session at the university's climbing wall. The session, which starts at 6 p.m, is aimed to train anyone the basics of train the basics as well as rigging knots and methods. It will be £6, which includes gear rental, wall hire, and inclusion of an instructor.
Well, that's it for this week's episode. We hope everyone had a great week, and we shall see you all next week for another episode.